California State Assembly Speaker John Pérez, there is a bill that was sent to the governor that allows individuals from 5 years old through 12th grade, if they identify with a certain gender as opposed to the gender they were born with, they can use that gender's bathroom, their locker room, and even play on their sports teams. It narrowly passed the state Senate. It passed with a better majority in your House. Why did you support that?
Well, first of all, I think you have a misunderstanding as you frame the question. You said the gender they identify with versus the gender that they were born with. And that's really fundamentally what's at question, is what has been their gender since birth. And we have a growing science about how inaccurate we've been at identifying gender for a very narrow group of people. Transgender individuals have had to suffer through some of the worst indignities and personal problems that anybody in our society has had to deal with. In fact, currently in 33 states, you can be fired for simply being transgender no matter how well you do your job. What this bill was about was making sure that there was a safe place for kids based on the reality of who they are to be able to fully participate in their schools. LA Unified has actually been leading the effort to make sure that we created safe space. The idea isn't that you'd have boys going into girls' locker rooms or anything of the sort, but rather that you created a space for those kids at a very vulnerable time in their life to feel safe and included and accepted in their school.
But would that not be the result?
No. If you look at what LA Unified's done and you look at what a variety of other places have done.
So a boy who identifies as being a girl, he's genetically a boy.
Well, actually, the question is whether he is in fact genetically a boy or whether he presents with male features and is not necessarily genetically a boy. But in any case, you take that student. They're not trying to force themselves in a place where they're going to cause controversy. In fact, they're trying to find a place where they'll be safe. And so what LA Unified's done and what other schools are looking at doing is creating gender-neutral facilities as well so that there's a place for that person to go. But yes, we do want them to be able to participate in sports and other activities as they identify and as they actually present.
Now, earlier you said you support local control at school districts. They would turn around and say, let the school districts handle that.
Yeah, but when there are limits to what you let happen on a local basis. And the very treatment of our students and creating a safe and nurturing environment is something that has to be of concern for all of us. And when you look at the non-discrimination section of the Education Code, it speaks to this broadly. So the questions of broad-based inclusion and safe spaces are something that's generally applicable. The question of local control is making decisions about how you run a classroom and how you provide for the best education possible.
Critics, though, will argue that you're siding with the sensitivities of a certain group while denying the sensitivities of another group, which is a girl who's not happy with somebody who looks to be a boy coming into their locker room.
But I would argue that you're, again, buying into the concept that the kid who'd be coming into that locker room looks like a boy. What you're going to find is somebody who looks like a girl, who presents as a girl, who identifies as a girl, who's trying to be treated as the girl that she knows that she is. Now, in government, it is important that we stand up and look for the rights of marginalized individuals and individuals that don't have much of a voice. And so that's what this bill speaks to.
Has the governor said he's going to sign it to you?
We haven't talked about this specific bill. There are thousands of bills that make their way through. I'm optimistic that we'll find the governor's signature.